is up, everybody? This is Insomniac Hour. I am Josh. That is Amicus, and that is Dimitri down there. I just took away his thunder, but his rumble, and you know what? I was it's a crazy night. It's a crazy night. And you know, it is an Insomniac Hour for me. I will tell you that much. It has been crazy ever since we even left that last show. I just been kind of nonstop. I was working down to the last minute just to get this show up, and we got a whole bunch of people joining in with us from TikTok because we're streaming live on TikTok with Dimitri over there. And yeah, very cool. This is gonna be a fun little conversation. We had some things that came up in the last minute. I'm like, well, let's talk about this shit because this is gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's good that you said thunder because that's what happened. So I was outside doing a response to TikTok actually, and I saw a lightning flash, and then I heard thunder with like 10 seconds after it, and then I thought to myself, I was like, oh wow, like the storm's pretty far away, but let me see something. So I turned my camera on, and it's filming, and I say, if this is a holographic universe truly built on our intentions, then very, very shortly there will be a lightning strike, and boom, like literally that's how long it took. It was amazing. And I mean, coincidence, maybe, because I saw the first one, right? But at the same, if it's a coincidence, that fell like really, really perfectly to my time.
That's kind of cool. You should, you have to do is you validate it 3 times. And so after the first time, you'd be like, okay, do it again.
Yeah, that's the thing though, because like, I would think that the reason is because I'm timing them, So like in my head, like I'm timing, so it would always happen essentially, but it wouldn't happen twice in a row. And if it did, then I would just poop my pants and run inside because that'd be ridiculous. Yeah. So I think the more that you gave me this idea that like I was talking actually about the path of least resistance.
Okay.
Because someone just asked me, they said like, what does that mean? And I said, well, my friend Josh came up with this theory for the way flies travel, but I used it in the sense of like water doesn't discriminate between flowers and weeds. So it just gives not the path of least resistance to you, but to the thing that's giving you energy.
Yeah.
So if you go against the universe.
Of it is, where does full things flow?
To where it's not full.
To empty things.
Exactly.
Does empty flow to full? No. Path of least resistance. As in, there's, the universe is always going to take that path that leads to the least amount expenditure of energy to follow the laws and principles set before it.
Right.
Really that simple.
So what are we getting into today? Are we doing Lynn Buchanan research or like warm up? Because I got paper, I got pens. We could write some sigils, some symbols.
I thought we talked about the strange universe. So I just sent. So firstly, there is this. It was interesting. Amicus, you were talking about it. The other day we did a show talking about universe, intention, all this stuff, and Amicus is like, "Hey man, did you see this rare hypernova explosion detected on the fringes of the Milky Way galaxy for the first time? Did you see this shit?"
I heard about it. I think they're saying that because they like observed that, there's a huge step in what the relation between galaxies are. Like I think that was the bridge that I was talking about, like the highway between galaxies or the connection between galaxies.
Right. So scientists have found a rare gargantuan stellar explosion dating to the earliest days of the universe, less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang. Known as a magnetorotational hypernova, this ancient explosion would have been roughly 10 times brighter and more energetic than the typical supernova, the violent death that awaits most stars in the universe, leaving behind a strange stew of elements, blah, 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 blah. They're full of shit. Stars that go boom like this must be massive, dozens of times the size of our star, spin rapidly, and contain a massive, powerful magnetic field, according to the study published by July 7th in the journal Nature. Now, one thing, so this is always interesting to point out, guys, okay? Now, read this line right here. Stars that go boom like this must be massive, dozens of times the size of the sun, spin rapidly, and contain a powerful magnetic field. What don't they say that it needs to contain as well? And see, they leave this one point out for a very specific reason.
Electricity.
An electric field. You can't have a magnetic field unless you have an electric field. It doesn't work that way.
Isn't that implied though?
No,
because of that?
It's not. This is
they
what
leave it out.
They leave it out completely. You want to know why?
Why?
Because the solar phenomena, this phenomena that we're actually seeing here, okay, is an electrical phenomenon.
Right. Okay.
And we can explain it electrically. But the moment they put that in there, other scientists begin to see the truth. But they want to leave the mystery.
What do you mean? So the sun is an electrical thing, not a fire thing?
Absolutely. The sun is 100% electrical. If nobody's ever out there watched the electric universe theory or the plasma universe, Thunderbolts of the Gods,
That would make
go
the filaments.
check it out. Oh my God. So think about this. You remember when we looked at that sonoluminescence, the star in the jar? And you had that sound wave that compressed the water so fast, the water ignited into a plasma.
Right.
And the inner temperature of the plasma was over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which was hotter than the surface of the sun. But none of the water around it burned off in steam.
So it was contained.
How was it contained? It's contained in a plasmic shell.
Magnets?
It's contained in a plasmic shell within its own electromagnetic field. Okay? Now,
Right.
star in the jar, sonoluminescence, that is our sun. It's no different. So it's showing you how solar waves, okay, or how acoustic waves, sound vibrational waves, compress a medium to where the medium forms a plasmoid that has various aspects to give and present infrastructure or structure or architecture or symmetry, just like our solar system.
So basically what you're saying is everybody should be singing at all times. Like just start singing now.
I like that. That's a good theory. Like everybody should be singing at all times.
What makes this one crazy and sets it apart, though, is on one of the things that they tried drilling home when I was in high school science classes was we lived on a Goldilocks planet. This hypernova is like the Goldilocks of all type of phenomena of this sort because they observed basically all of the elements of the periodic table, like gold and everything, just like in an instant manifested when it went into hypernova.
Now
Which
they
is
say that
crazy. That's alchemy right there.
It is.
Was this Betelgeuse by any chance?
No, this wasn't in the Orion Nebula. This wasn't the Betelgeuse star.
The Betelgeuse, sorry.
Oh, Betelgeuse, depends how you pronounce it.
I don't know. I just heard that was the next one too. Apparently, supposed to go supernova or as close to it.
If you want the star name, it's SMSS J20. It's I'm kidding. If you really want it, I'll put it in the link.
J2. I actually wrote that down. SMSS J200.
322.54 dash 114203.3. J2 for short.
Oh my God. J what? T?
J2.
I'm highlighting it right here.
I got it. I wrote it all down.
But let's just call it J2 for short. Located about 7,500 light years from the sun in the halo of the Milky Way galaxy, formed about 13 billion years ago, or less than 800 million years after the birth of the universe.
It's like those numbers are like so like you know what I mean. Like I can't fathom what a billion years is like, or a billion light years. I think I know how big it is.
I think there's problems with the conceptualization of time and the way we perceive it, and that Einstein might have been maybe wrong on a different scheme of things, but who knows?
I mean, he was wrong about the speed of light being the fastest thing. It's not, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's held up to the limitation as he set forth. Although there are
quantum entanglement,
quantum entanglement, stuff like that happens at
instantly.
Right, that instantaneously, that science cannot explain, but obviously people like us can.
Which is why I think that the whole this astronomical 18 billion light years away. I think it could be just as quickly as a quantum entanglement instant. Right. You're not going to travel. And you're there.
What if light was quantumly entangled?
All of it.
The stars that were actually seen from these billions of light years away, the light so think about this, right? Is once that light is emitted, right?
Right.
It's like a wave within an ocean, right? That ripple of that wave is cast through time.
Yeah.
Now, let's not think of the linearity of things. Let's think of the connectedness of time. Let's think a little esoteric here. Let's think about light. What if that light, okay, was actually entangled through the medium of propagation, which we know of as the ether? Which means that connection with us and that light is instantaneously updated due to entanglement. So that event didn't happen billions of years ago. It instead happened today. Right now.
Do you want the noodle bender?
Sure.
The day they wrote that article and the day that they were observing it, that's when we had a huge solar influx of weather.
Ooh, oh, you need this.
Of course it is.
So, I mean, no coincidences.
No.
So that's kind of validating what I was thinking.
Well, I was thinking the reason that would happen is because our sun is massive, obviously, right? So something that massive carries energy of magnitude with it. So if something blows up further away, it could feel it more. So essentially, it could feel it more than we can.
Well, also
the
you have
sun
to
would
understand is they detected
reverberates.
it that day. Yeah, but they detected it that day. So if they detected it that day,
It
that
happened
means
before.
It happened. No, it literally reached them that day. So it was the cause of solar flares.
Right.
I mean, there's a direct correlation here to that solar flare and that hypernova of how
You
that
just said,
right. So
you just said that electricity, like, dude, the filaments. Have you seen the dancing filaments on the sun?
Birkeland currents, and they're all throughout the whole universe. Every galaxy has them. They're called Birkeland currents. And this is one of the foundational premises of the electric universe theory. So think about this: you remember how we were talking about optimization theory when we said that electricity actually it happens instantaneously because it's entangled, but what we see is the reaction in the end, the light actually formulating.
Yeah, they're closing up. Right.
Right? So that's the delayed function because the collapse of the field occurs at the speed of light.
Right.
Right? But what if that actual collapsing of the field was relative to the observer and actually entangled as well? Whereas, let's say that force propagates instantaneously as entangled, like this hypernova. That hypernova just happened. Let's say it really did just happen, okay?
Right.
And so anybody who basically crosses that point of exchange will experience that hypernova at that instantaneous point of time. So for us being in this line of sight of this hypernova, that collapsing that looks like 800 million years ago is actually instantaneously. That observation of it. It traveled along with the bow shock.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because if you think about it, like, oh, he said he's going to come. No, he's 500 million light years away, and he said he's going to come here in 500 million years, going at the speed of light. So that's today.
Who said that?
No, I'm just giving you an example. Like they said, like, oh, the asteroid is going to hit here in 5 million years, but it's 5 million light years away, and it's moving at the speed of light. Well, I mean, that's today. That's happening right now.
Yeah.
The further away, the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I think that a lot of these universal solar activities happen instantaneously, and that we're quantum entangled with the entire
just light up
universe.
everything, right?
And
they
so
just light them all up.
These events aren't actually happening millions of years in the past. They're happening right now. It's just we don't understand how energy force propagates in the universe through an entangled construct of a counter space and an outer space, right?
Right.
And so we say, oh well, calculating the collapse of the etheric field as the speed of light, right? So that's the difference. If we're calculating the propagation of light through space, distance, right? It's going to take billions of years for that thing to get here. If we calculate the speed of light is actually the collapse of the field as the wave propagates through it, which the wave is instantaneously because it is
all
entangled.
opens it up. Right.
Therefore, we no longer have these long distances where light has to travel billions of years to get here. It happens instantaneously because the force that's propagating. Does this all make sense? I mean, I know for some people this is hard to grasp if they don't know the theory. The theory is that what you're actually seeing with the speed of light is, or what you're seeing with light, what a light is, what a photon is is think about a teardrop going, or think about a pebble being dropped into the ocean. It forms a bow shock. And behind that pebble, the water collapses back onto itself, right? As the water moves and propagates downward, the water comes back and closes and collapses onto itself, and you have ripples that are formulated within the ocean, right? Think of the bow shock as a force that's propagating. This is entangled. This happens instantaneously. So that pebble happens everywhere in the universe. That's just a force, but it propagates instantaneously. This is what we know of as entangled theory. The reason that happens is because it doesn't propagate in our three-dimensional universe. It propagates on something known as counter space, the alternative aspect to our universe. If our universe is three-dimensional positive space, it was created with a duality of three-dimensional negative space, condensed space, the feminine version, the implosive version, where everything is merely a Planck's length distance away from itself. So all this force propagates on that level, not on this level. So that means that force can propagate instantaneously, we call it entanglement, through this counter space, right? But replicates, is observed as light, as that pebble moving through the ocean, where it moves the ether like this, and the ether collapses, and when it collapses, it produces light. And so what we're actually observing with light is not the traveling long distances through the universe, but instead the collapsing of the field back to a neutral state, that when the field separates, it's a positive and a negative, electromagnetic or electric and a magnetic field, and when it collapses, it gives off a photon of light, just like capacitance occurs through the separation of a resistant medium.
Okay, so what about, okay, so light in this, huh?
Your camera's off.
Oh, snap. I'm sorry. What about so light is infrared rays, right? So say we're talking about our sun. So it's X-rays.
Light is all rays. Heat is infrared.
So the plasma for a coronal mass ejection takes a couple of days depending upon solar winds. It can be 1 day, 3 days, right? But that's a different plasma. We still can't see plasma, right? But it affects our electrical grid big time.
Plasma,
because
absolutely.
Is that purple stuff? Like what does sun plasma look like when it hits the Earth?
Well, by the time it hits so this is one thing that you have to think about in consideration of this. When that solar flare leaves the Earth, it's going, right?
Leaves the sun.
Yeah, leaves the sun. Path of least resistance, right?
It dissipates.
It's dissipating what we know of as something called the inverse square law. Do you know what the inverse square law is?
No.
So think about this: is like a radio frequency antenna, a cell tower, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that they're giving off 50,000 watts of electricity. Okay? At 1/2 of the wavelength away from that tower, the power now is 25,000 watts. At another 1/2 wavelength, it's now 12,500 watts. At another 1/2 of wavelength, so if you're dealing with microwave wavelengths, you're talking microwaves, right? Millimeters. So every millimeter, it's decreasing 1/2 in its power outage.
Gotcha.
Okay? So the same thing happens. So let me finish. The same thing happens with the plasma from the sun. Okay? But this is happening because it's in a vacuumous space, and that energy is being distributed in all directions at the same time. So by the time it hits us, there's a lot of concentrated energy, but it's very distributed. So you're not seeing it in its normal fashion. So when they see like the flame coming out towards the Earth and stuff, not really like that.
A better visual aid would be like going a field during the spring when all the dandelions have the seeds, and that's the kind of spreading motion. It's very, it dissipates.
It's an equal distribution. That's right.
So for the Carrington event in 1856, where the telegraphs went haywire and the transformers blew up all over if that happened today, we would lose power in pretty much North America if it was pointed at us when it happened.
We'd have a lot of instability within the electric grids, and a lot of information and data processing systems would go down. But that's just a Carrington type event of that caliber. If we had a mass solar flare that produced some type of so basically what they're doing actually is they're producing electromagnetic pulses, right?
Right.
So it's the interaction of that solar flare with our electromagnetic field that pulses an electric current to the core of the Earth. And basically anything that's not grounded in between is going to be affected. Or anything that is anything that is not grounded in between will be affected.
Like an EMP.
Right.
But the Earth has the geomagnetic protection shield, so to speak. But that's if it deteriorates with a strong enough blast, then it'll affect everything that we have here in terms of electronics.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I think there's a lot more to this in the scientific basis. I think that the Earth and the Sun are very intelligent and they communicate. And so I think the Earth actually increases its electrical field strength or magnetic field strength at the same time relative towards those types of things happening. But I think that's also global consensus. I think that human consciousness is a part of that system.
Of course. Hey, so hang on. Let me get back to it. You think the Sun and the Earth communicate like what you're saying is are they alive?
I think that we could look at it as a sense of intelligence, but you could also look at it as a sense of just bylaws and communication.
Right.
So
is it like a computer program like you wrote yesterday? If this, then this, or is it an actual like we are onto Earth as like a, I don't know, whatever it is, a skin cell is to us?
View it as a system and a subsystem communicating with each other.
I think that we have. Yeah, I think that yeah, exactly. Everything is in a point of optimization, but I think that there are things that are unpredictable. And that, you know, the sun gets hit with excess energy that the sun doesn't know about, and the Earth doesn't have time to prepare.
Right, which is like what just happened.
The Carrington event, or what just happened, and so this is crazy. I want to look into that. I want to research this shit because what we're talking about right here is a derivation of the theory that I've never really thought about in the sense of light propagation, of how we perceive light propagation. Because if light propagation is not the actual movement through distances, but instead the collapsing of the field back to a neutral or optimized state, then this means that all forcial primary mover force propagation that happens through counter space is instantaneously, that is quantum entanglement. That means that everything that we're observing in space right now is instantaneous as well.
So we're just lagging essentially in how we see it, but it's happening right away.
And see, this would actually make a lot of sense because here's the thing: is when we're trying to,
of course, go ahead, I'm sorry.
When we're trying to detect a signal from Pluto, from one of our orbiters or something like that, it takes like what, 4 days, 5 days, depending on how far away it is, right? Mm-hmm. Light traveling from the sun still takes 9 hours to get to the Earth.
8 minutes.
8 minutes. Sorry, 8 minutes. But what is that's taking the 8 minutes?
Right. The collapse.
Right?
Because it's there. It's there. It's like a laser. Like it's always going.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, we're about to get into a little conspiracy theory because I think that we're being lied to on a scientific basis and on a wholehearted basis. And I'm going to show you a video which kind of validates this, I think, a little bit. But
I'm just supporting your theory. That's why you feel that your phone ring before it rings.
Right.
Because the person to call you or to text you had that notion. You received it instantaneously, but it took for the thing to go through. You know, that's essentially like a metaphor for what you're talking about with light.
Yeah.
Like the collapse of the field is your cell phone buzzing, but the intention of you feeling that someone's about to text you was the actual light hitting you instantaneously as it happened.
Well, think about this. And this is one thing I want you to understand, okay? Go back to the X solar flare that we had last week, right?
Mm.
They detected it, right?
Yeah.
And what did they put out right after they detected it?
A warning.
A warning saying that the solar flare is going to hit Earth in what? 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the solar flare is traveling how fast?
Speed of light.
Speed of light.
So how did they get the communication that it was already happened? They knew how to warn us. If the communication system
isn't us seeing it the speed of light? Like
you see where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, what the fuck? What do you mean? You saw
we
this
detected
shit?
all the probable scenarios that it was actually going to. No, they saw it.
The photons hit your eyes. Yeah.
They had the sensor. Well, we have a sensor right by the sun that picked it up. Great. Doesn't that signal from the sun, from that sensor, still take 9 minutes to get back to the Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't. If you saw it, that's light hitting your eyes.
Maybe I'm wrong here.
Cornea. I don't know. It kind of makes sense. If you see the sun go, that means that's happened. It's here.
It's observed.
That's the speed of light. Why does it take 8 minutes to get here from the sun?
Simple as that. It's observed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That makes perfect sense, though. What is it, 2 different types of light? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, maybe they were detecting tachyon radiation before it ever happened, right?
Right. The intention of the sun to have a solar
Now,
flare.
did you guys see this video of the ISS, of the bright lights by the ISS that I sent? You guys have a chance to watch this? I just sent it in the chat, the Zoom chat. You can watch it right now. I'm going to play it for everybody out there, and I want everybody to watch this video. This is a recent video, okay? And I'm going to read the headline for you. The headline... hold on. The headline is Bright Lights Appear to Swarm Spacecraft. This is at the ISS. So a video appears to show a swarm of bright lights flying past the International Space Station and has sent conspiracy theorists scrambling to suggest what they might be. Some people have suggested objects are UFOs or aliens. It's not every day you see a swarm like this. I don't know what these are. There is no meteor shower going on. He said they were likely hundreds because the camera was only filming in one direction. Since he uploaded on July 11th, more than 37,000 people have been inundated by watching it. Let me see here. They looked exactly like the ones the ISS moved before.
Why is it all dark like this?
Well, hold on a second.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to... And so you notice they don't have a specialist come in and say what they're not, okay? Now, what 100%. I want to do is I want to play this video for everybody, okay? Because this is really important. Don't worry about UFOs or what they're calling them to be. Just watch the video and tell me what you see that doesn't make any sense. This is where I'm saying we're going to get into conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I know exactly what this is.
Hold on.
I've seen this before.
I'm just spinning here. It's not playing for me.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about in terms of wrong and not wrong, but I know exactly what I'm looking at.
Hold on.
I think I know exactly what I'm looking at.
I'm trying to get the video to play, Dimitri.
I'm not going to spoil it for him.
No, it's okay.
You want me to spoil it for him?
I don't know what's going on with that. Man, they don't like me today, do they?
Oh, we're touching on all the good topics.
Yeah, seriously.
It says file cannot be played. It's like completely just shut that whole thing down. Okay, let me refresh the screen and do this again.
Sorry. Somebody just rang my doorbell. That's so weird.
Better be armed.
Yo, for real? What's fucking the CIA and shit, the FBI?
Literally, as we're having problems trying to play this.
That's because they blocked the signal and then they're at his house. Amicus, get the sword.
All right. Let's see if we can do this now. It's loading an ad.
There was another video very similar to this. It was on a green background, though. It wasn't blue. It wasn't like black like this. It was green.
Maybe he should.
Is it playing now?
No, huh? It's just I don't know what's going on. It says loading an ad. It's just all messed up.
Kind of looks like when in elementary school when we were looking at Paramecium.
Dailystar.co.uk is a horrible fucking site. Fudging, sorry. I had this thing playing before, it was singing like a bird, now it doesn't want to play worth a damn. So basically what we're seeing here, and I'll show you the video here in a second, is you see a whole bunch of lights that kind of are flying by. What the fuck?
Are you telling us the viewers?
Yeah. I'm just going to go find it.
You trying to tell me? I was like, oh, I know, man. I know what Paramecium looks like.
Swarm ISS. There we go. I'm gonna have to find a different version of this.
What did well, you show it first, then I want to see what you said, why it looks weird to you, because I mean, it just reminded me of what it is, you know?
Yeah.
But what is it that was the anomaly that clued you into your notion?
Well, there's you start to see some things that don't make sense in this video. Specifically, all the smaller lights, and I'll point those out in a second. I just none of these videos are loading anywhere. 22 hours. I see if this one will do it.
Who was it?
Conspiracy theorist explains fleet of 10 UFOs captured hovering near ISS.
There was nobody there.
Kids playing Ding Dong Ditch.
Was it? Were they really?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Like you saw kids, or you didn't see anyone? Because that's a big difference.
There were like tiny footprints leading up to the door. It rained earlier, so they weren't really cautious. They were like really tiny shoe prints.
Or they were really, really smart CIA agents that have small shoes.
All right. Let me play this for them right here. Okay, guys. Now notice that you do have feedback on the camera. But watch. See all this stuff moving? Look at this stuff moving by, right? Now, this is an ISS camera. This is in space. Did you see that little thing right there? Now, that's like, obviously, these look like UFOs, right? There's a whole bunch of these UFOs moving by. But watch these small little flicks. See these small little, like, dust particles flying by the camera? You see all these small little dust particles. How the hell can you have dust particles flying by a camera that's in space?
It's space dust.
It's space dust.
Yeah,
you know what all this is, guys? I'm going to tell you what all this is. This is very easy to explain because I've seen this phenomena before. I've seen all these lights in the background, just like we're seeing. I've seen all this stuff fly by, looks like space dust. You know what that is?
Parameciums.
It's fucking water. They're under water.
Yeah, it's like a drop of lake water. If you look at it under a microscope.
I'm not a flat earther, but I will tell you right now that I don't think the ISS is up in space.
Really?
You know why it might not be up in space? Because of what's going on up there. I think there might be some serious shit going on up there. And I think it might just be too dangerous for these people to be sitting up there doing scientific experiments.
So does that mean Richard Branson
didn't go to space?
Didn't go to space and took a sub ride?
Or here's the thing.
He did.
Is the atmosphere of space is way different than we could ever imagine. Maybe it goes to the theory that Dimitri was talking about yesterday, is that what space actually is a construct of water that surrounds this inner Earth. And what if all the stars and planets were nothing more than other inner Earth systems swimming in this big planet?
Distant, yeah. What if the universe, the ever-expanding universe, is just a ball of water?
It's just water.
And we're bubbles in this water.
What if space was water?
Would give a whole new meaning to watch the water, wouldn't it?
Wow.
That's why the water's so powerful. And we have water inside of our little bubble.
Wow. You know? Imagine, but think about that. What if space really was water?
I gotta tell you, there's another video like that, just like the one you have.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
It was in a green background, and the same thing. It's like some are moving slowly like this, and other ones are zipping by quickly this way. And I just like, this is lake water. When you look under lake water under a microscope in elementary school, and you see the paramecium with the tail and the amoeba or whatever it is, and you see those big things like moving kind of slowly, and then you see little things just zipping around. Like, I don't even know what the hell they are, but I just remember that looks exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all moving in a straight line, right? Didn't look like air. I'll tell you that much.
So I'm still thinking about the whole sun thing and the speed of the light, how it hits the Earth, right? Now let's think about this. How do they know that? Well, because we can detect when something leaves the sun, and we know that it hits 9 minutes later. Well, how the fuck did you detect it?
Yeah, and what are you detecting exactly that hits 9 minutes later? Yeah. If you saw the light's photons,
well,
right?
We saw the light leave, so we knew it's going to hit the Earth in 9 minutes.
No, Dick, you hit it already when you saw it. Like, what do you mean? What are you, like, outside of the Earth? Like,
okay.
Let's
also look at this too. They want us to believe that they have a sensor right near the sun that's an instantaneous communication. Yet my cell phone can't keep a connection for more than 5 minutes without it faltering. Get out of here.
Like,
how about this? Aliens just rang your doorbell.
Yeah, that is true. Or
yeah,
aliens literally just rang your freaking doorbell.
Yeah, seriously, the opportunity's knocking. Actually, it's ringing your doorbell.
Dude, I don't know. That's just highly unusual. Like, dude,
I thought
I've seen. You ever seen the Tether one where there's millions of like little UFOs by the ISS and they call it the Tether video? It's water. What if? This is why we are. This is why they hide the fact, right? They say you are carbon-based life form. No, we're not. We're water-based life form.
That's right.
We're water-based.
And this is why
life
oxygen
form.
could be fucking us up. Because we're not supposed to be breathing this way, so to speak.
I don't know about that. I was just joking when I said that, but
I know you were.
Let's just assume that we are water-based life forms. Okay, that this planet is 85% water. All life that we know of contains water.
How do fish get air from water with gills? Like, what actually happens?
UFOs come from the water.
Josh.
So if we go down enough, we could pop out somewhere out there. Maybe that's the medium.
John Rader just touched on something. It's in the word
astronaut.
Nautical.
Yeah, well, astronauts. Astro means space, so space waterfarers. But NASA was originally formed to actually explore the oceans.
Yeah. So why they all of a sudden drop that? Because the real exploration of the ocean is up there. That's the ocean. This is just a puddle. But I'm thinking if we go down, like if there's a civilization of aliens that lives underwater, we always see, or they claim they see UFOs coming in and out of the water. Why are they coming in and out of the water, and where are they going? Well, maybe because if you go deep enough, you could do a wormhole or whatever it is out to somewhere else.
That's a brain fuck.
Yeah.
I can't say those F words anymore, but that's a mind screw, man. To think about what if space was water.
But yeah, like what? That makes how? And we're floating in it as bubbles. And like just like if you flush a toilet or if you like swirl a cup of coffee, you know how like the bubbles they float around in the thing, and that's as we're floating up, that's what's happening. We're just bubbles floating to some in a big glass somewhere of water.
We're all flowing around a drain.
Right, and they could predict it because if you slow the drain down like enough, you would be able to predict where the bubbles are going to be or the orbit of the bubbles.
Oh. And they all have suborbitals around larger bubbles. I don't know.
That's pretty crazy, man. It makes sense. The math works. I mean, I don't know if the math, the logic works out.
But we can look at so many of these videos from the ISS, and you see these strange, rare space dust particles.
You know how they practice? They practice going up there, right?
In the water.
How astronauts practice? Yeah.
Yeah, zero gravity, water.
Well, they practice in water to go to space.
I mean, really, how about this? Let's just say that it is space, that it is ether, but ether is very similar to water in context, and let's just say that it's not what they say it is. That once you get out there, you know.
Yeah, because I have a feeling that's what it is. Because everyone's kind of sketchy when they come back.
What if it was so full of life that the moment you get outside of this planet, there's just life everywhere. There's like wild life everywhere. The universe births leviathans. That the universe, stars, give life. Give birth to life. That everything is life. That life is everywhere. What if you got outside of our planet and there's like space fish and space whales? And beings. And beings that mermans that traverse space.
Yeah, yeah.
They were born in space, and they live in space.
If space was water, that's exactly what would be happening, actually.
That's it. Obviously. What if that's really what it was?
And they're just telling us it's a big void of nothingness in a vacuum?
Now, think about this, is that now you have, like, hollow earth theory, you have flat earth theory. This is why they propagate these theories. Oh, yeah, no, there's a big firmament over space, and, yeah, our earth is flat. Right? To make you look back down here and stop thinking about up there.
That makes sense. So there's, according to them, space is this big giant vacuum, but the size of the universe, what nothing has learned how to survive in the vacuum of space yet. You know, like species are normally adapting all the time, right? To survive with no light, with no this, no that. So in this giant universe of all these like Herculean possibilities of life. Nothing has like, of course, there's got to be life up there. There's got to be like life, like dense life.
What is there?
Just like an ocean.
There's an episode on a show. I'm trying to remember the show. Orville. You guys ever seen the Orville?
A couple of the trailers, I didn't really.
Oh, dude, such a good show. But what's his name? The dude who created Family Guy, McFarlane. So he wanted to create a Star Trek.
Right.
They denied him, so he created his own called Orville. And I think they have an episode where they come upon a Leviathan, a space like a space whale, like something that was born in space. And there's quite a few sci-fi series out there where they talk about various Leviathan. Where there's, I think Star Trek had an episode. I think
comes from somewhere.
Yeah, but basically what it is you find these spacecraft that were born from the universe, and they can hyperspeed jump anywhere in the universe. They can travel and throughout the universe, but they're biological, they're organic, and they're like space whales.
That Oumuamua thing, right? That asteroid that was like weird anomaly of an asteroid traveling really fast and flew by us apparently or something. There's a whale coming our way, like headed.
What if that Mumabooma thing was exactly that? What if it was just a whale that came into our areas? Seriously?
Yeah, no, it's an alien spaceship. Like, yeah, it's an alien entity, but it's just a big fish.
Dude, what if? That's cool to think about.
How do you find out?
Got to go up there. The only way to really find out.
But like how far? Because I think that what we're talking about is like from us to the moon isn't really space to me in my mind. I mean, I know it is obviously, but like I'm talking about like the little Earth, and because if this was all like this conspiracy theory, like there's a firmament and then there's this and there's that, like if there was a big ass firmament that they could put a fake moon in the firmament, you know what I mean? Like
listen, okay. I'm not going with a conspiracy theory that the moon's fake and all this stuff. No. I'm not even going to entertain that, because who are they? Now we get onto some bigger monster conspiracy guy that sits up there, God in a cloud.
You know why the flat earthers think that the earth is flat, right?
And that's why flat earthers are fucking stupid. And I'll say that. Any flat earther wants to come on and talk to me about it. You don't have to give me Bitcoin to do it.
No, I don't mean that. I mean the reason, like why the deception is because it's the devil telling us it's real.
Right. And that's the problem of the world, is everything comes back here to Earth, to you, to, hey, pay attention here because the devil and God are fighting an epic battle here. The expanse of the universe, 16 billion light years long. Everything's happening right here.
Yeah. There's
a firmament to keep us all in. Think about it right here. No, dude. Everything is happening out there. And everything that is happening here is meant to keep our eyes away from up there. Is meant to keep our attention away from up there. That's what's happening. And whether that is a space war, Galactic Federation, I don't know.
The world is a vampire.
But I think that space itself is a lot different than we believe it to be.
I agree, man. 100%. It can't be empty. How can there be this much emptiness?
What if what happens is like the moment you reach space, all of a sudden you're like, pew, and you can go anywhere you want. What if like the moment you get out of the constraints of your planet, all of a sudden like a database comes up. Where would you like to go? Bing.
I always said that. I always said when you die, your friends are gonna wake. You're gonna wake up and your friends are gonna be like, "How was it this time? Was it cool? Let's go have another beer."
No, it wasn't cool. Where would you like to be? Anywhere but here.
Dude, you picked the deep state fucking simulation. Oh, I don't like this one, man.
You picked 2021? Oh, my God.
Why did you do that one, man? That one's scary.
It's like high score, Josh or Dimitri. Like, I got to keep that on there.
And the leaderboard is today. Oh, my God, they're going to go battle in 2021. You got to be kidding me. These guys are nuts.
Seriously. Dorothy Cannon literally says that.
What's that?
Like pretty much verbatim.
What, 2021? Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that truly deep down inside we did, and I think there's many aspects of who we are and why we came here. But dude, there's something up here. This needs some further investigation, and I am not. You guys know me. I can throw a ball and tell you the physics of it. I can launch a rocket and tell you why it launches and how it happens. But I can't tell you how in front of a camera of the ISS you're seeing dust particles fly. And by the way, it's an outboard camera. It's not inside the ISS that's recording it, as some people would say. Well, it's just the air inside the ISS have dust particles. No, it's an outboard camera. Well, it's probably dust particles flying off the ISS.
What dust?
Yeah. Dust is mostly comprised of human
99%.
cells.
Well, but here's the thing: is when was the last time the ISS came in contact with anything that would produce dust?
Decades ago.
What would knock it off in front of those cameras? You know what the last time I heard them explain this, they said, is there was dust particles most likely from the last time that the Dragon spacecraft merged with them, because the Dragon. So you remember the whole thing that people thought was a mouse on the back of the Tesla or the SpaceX spacecraft?
Yeah.
Remember how everybody's like, "That's a mouse! It's a mouse! It's fake!" That wasn't a mouse. Absolutely not. I can explain that 100%. That spacecraft was in space. You want to know what that was? That was the separation fuselage, where the two parts of the spacecraft begin to separate. There's flapping that occurs. Okay, that flapping can burn up and can break off, especially at release. Okay?
Right.
So what that was pieces of that flapping that got caught on the extended part of the spacecraft that didn't go back down to Earth. Now, how you saw them move, you gotta remember, there's no wind in space. There's no atmosphere in space. So how did those things move? The vibration of the engine was causing that to move. That's why it moved like that. It's because of the vibration of the engine. But that shows us as well is that thing was in space and it wasn't water.
Okay, I have a question. If something is moving in a vacuum and it has dust on it, will the dust not move?
The dust should move with it.
But it wouldn't come off of it? It wouldn't roll off because of this,
There's no wind. There's no drag. There's nothing dragging against it.
But it's moving. It's displacing something.
There's no drag. An object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by a net force, period.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. So this is the space station moving through space, right? There's no displacement going on whatsoever. There's no air displacement because there's no air. There's no water displacement because
there's
essentially
etheric displacement, but that's very minimal. Okay.
So that displacement won't cause dust particles to fly off of the thing? What I'm trying to say is how can there be dust in something that's moving around the Earth like freaking that's 16,000 miles an hour?
There can't be dust. That's the thing. There can't be dust on it. And we're looking at clearly dust. I mean, I don't even care about the UFOs in the background. I seriously don't.
Yeah.
They're probably fish. Ridiculous. But I'm curious about, those are water bubbles. And you're going to see it. You'll see, that flickering right there. Like, this guy's pointing them all out. He's like, they're UFOs. They're UFOs. But there's occurrences here. I'm going to back this up a little bit. You're going to see it right here. You're going to see these, points of dust. Yeah, not even USOs. But you're going to see these, points of dust. All right? And we see, the pixelation right there. That one right there. That just flew by right there. That's a UFO. Okay, that's a UFO, UFO. Those could just be water bubbles in something moving. But you see all these little dust right there. Dust. Those are dust particles. What if they weren't dust particles? What if they are space bugs?
How come some of them aren't moving? Yeah, that's totally dust, dude. 100% dust.
Yeah. Or it's water bubbles or shit in the water moving by.
Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. Dude, I'm telling you, it looks like a drop of lake water under a microscope.
That's it.
It's just black and white.
And then you get this guy, the Armada of Bright Lights, this dude who made this funny. It's an Armada of UFOs, man. Dude, come on, let's extrapolate the theory a little bit further and not always pinpoint to UFOs. Way?
Like the quote unquote UFOs are all traveling
because the ISS is floating through the ocean going this way. And that's nothing but water bubbles reflecting. So if you look at the video,
Yo,
Notice,
oh my God, there was one out of focus one that just flew by across.
Yeah,
That was 100%.
look at the water. Look at the water. Look at the light right here. Those are water bubbles being refracted from the light. Now look at the red one. Do you see the red one up there?
Yeah.
What is that?
The one that goes from right to left and it's out of focus right towards the end. It's out of focus because it's closer to the camera. Because how can the camera, dude? That's just such bullshit.
Oh, wait, do you see the green one right there? Look at that shit.
Yep.
Why are there red ones and green ones? What is this stuff? Oh, it seems the ISS camera. Look, okay, for everybody watching, there's a red one there and a red one there. There's a blue one there, a red one there, red, okay? And then watch these as he pans this camera. Right, he focused in on a blue one. Now you saw that blue one right there that was out of focus with the Dimitri was calling out. Watch this stuff. Right, oh, I missed it. Oh, no, it should come back up. There'll be another one. Right there. That's a dust particle.
100%. And just the consistency of them too. There's like a cluster of them over there.
Yep, and then look at this green one right there. And all that blue stuff in the background. What is that?
Why would they do that though? Like, why would they send this footage?
It was live feed.
Okay, but like, what? You know what I mean? Like, so you're saying that...
You know, their filter's screwed up. We got a green one right there. Their filter's screwed up. I think they have filters that are supposed to, like, probably digital filters they use to get rid of this stuff. That's probably what these red and green lights are, is that's probably their digital filter overlay to make it look like, you know, distant stars and stuff like that, and it's supposed to filter out all this other stuff.
Meanwhile, they're just filming water close up.
Yep.
They haven't gotten the new Windows update.
Yeah, they didn't get the new Windows update.
What is that filter called? The ND filter?
I don't know.
For photography, when you put like the darker filter on it so that it takes some of the light out or whatever.
Yeah.
And ND, I think it's called.
A couple of different ones. I think there's a BD one. There's
I just remember
types.
The drone I have, it came with 3 little, it looks like sunglasses for it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, here's the interesting thing too, is I'm going to pause it right here. You guys, you got to remember, you're looking at a camera. If you can see this like bottom area, it looks like foggy right here. From this refraction of this light, that's moisture on the camera lens.
Yeah.
That distortion right there, that's moisture on the camera lens.
So you think that's actually a NASA feed or no?
Yes, this is a legit NASA feed.
In a pool somewhere.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like,
No, I mean, I believe you. There's no
I don't
debate.
know if it's in a pool, if it's actually in space. Maybe
space,
you know what?
pool.
Maybe the construct of space is like, dude, maybe there's bugs. Maybe there's life forms. Maybe space is very much alive. You know what? That would make the most sense. Maybe space is very much alive.
And they're telling us it's a vacuum so we don't Truman show it out of here.
Yeah. What if we could leave anytime we wanted?
You know what I mean? Truman show, like they got him afraid to go to the ocean because like he's afraid of water because he would find the wall.
Yeah. What if we could leave anytime we wanted?
Space is a vacuum. It'll get you. You will die.
What if we could leave anytime we wanted? Wow. Fucking imagine that, man.
That would make the reason for the moon landing, like the ship being so rickety, because it doesn't have to be like crazy, you know, like attack. You just go up there. It's fine. No big deal.
What if we could leave anytime we want, man?
How? Come on.
What if it was as simple as just thinking it, bro? He's thinking
that would
it
work.
Right
No, didn't work.
What happened?
No, trying to think to.
I don't know.
Maybe for a second I went somewhere else, but
this is just weird and unusual to even think about this conceptually. Is, you know, what the hell is really going on up there? I mean, you know, I can understand. So Branson went to space today. Isn't that interesting? We were just talking last week about the race to space, Bezos and Branson, right? All of a sudden, Branson goes this week, today? I thought they were months away.
Huh.
But
yeah, Bezos was supposed to go 2 weeks from now.
Right, but he goes today, the same day that this comes out about this ISS feed being space in the water or UFOs swarming, right?
Did he go today? He went the other day, no?
No, Branson went today.
Yes, yesterday or today.
It's like you're in space when the pilot says that's so cool. Like that was the video, right?
I don't know. Did they have video of him up there?
Yeah, they have a video of him like going up, not him, but like video of the cockpit, and then they like turn around and they show just enough of the Earth not to show the curvature. You know what I mean? Like the window's this big, so you just see like a straight line, but they weren't high enough yet.
Yeah, there's video of Virgin Galactic. He's floating.
Let's see it.
I'll send the link.
Imagine you get up there like, okay, man, so you made it.
Okay.
Here, this is the deal. Can't tell anybody it's water. As above, so below.
Yeah.
As above, so below. Thank you, Hermes
What's below? The
Toth.
ocean.
I was thinking that earlier when we were talking about it. Did you send the link? Because my shit is loaded.
Oh.
Slow as.
There's another conspiracy theory that says the inside of the Earth is not the metal core; it's just water.
That's a possibility. Everything's a possibility here.
And if it's not, we can sure as hell make it possible.
How much did they pay to go up to space? Some of these people, how much did they pay?
Millions.
Hundreds of thousands, millions. I don't know.
Man, that would really be shitty if they were like, yeah, so you paid all that 100 million, but what we're really doing is going under the ocean. Sorry.
There's only one way.
You're not really.
What if they actually just knocked them out and gave them a hallucinogenic journey? Everything was
That's
created.
it.
Everything was created through CGI.
They're supposed to be building a space hotel by 2027. It's a hotel that orbits the Earth like the space station. You could stay there for
We're
like.
watching it now. Hold on a second here. All right, so he's taking off. He's going up. Let me see. Where's it start? Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Oh, he's floating in the thing. Oh, there's a curvature of the Earth right there.
Where? I didn't see it.
Flat Earth is where you're at.
Okay, I see the plane going up. That's so cool. Up, there's a curvature of the Earth. I see it.
Yeah, that's it. There should be no flat earthers after this video. Ever. Like, why? They have nothing to stand on.
They're using a fisheye lens. So, did you see the debris break off? That's pretty cool. They're all looking out there. They're very happy. I mean, the excitement looks legit. But, you know, they don't do much. That's it? That's all they show us of it?
Well, of course, you can't see what's going on.
Dude, why don't they put the whole freaking ploy up there? I want to see everything.
Because there's fish.
Now, there's one point in here where you can see the curvature of the Earth, okay? It's at about 120... Right there. About 130, okay? Now, you see, obviously, stuff breaking off from it, but see if you can spot in that few seconds any other particles. I don't see anything. It didn't look like it. That was interesting. Go back and look at about 132 to 134. Watch the light above Branson's head.
Wow. Wait, hang on. Branson soars into space.
Well, they are twisting and turning, so that's probably the Earth. I want to see the full video of them in space.
Yo, when they show you the curvature of the Earth,
yeah,
like when you see it, you can see those the dust, space dust is right there.
Well, that's of the spacecraft breaking off from its engine.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't show anything else. I want to see the whole thing. I want to see the whole mission up there.
I'm never going to see the whole mission.
Isn't that fucked up that they don't show you everything, man?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, and I don't think it's for money.
You got to probably pay for it, huh?
No, but I don't think that's what it is, though. I think it's just because they don't want to show you because then we'll know.
I don't know.
That's why
I guarantee we can find it. It was all recorded.
I mean, can you find the JFK assassination?
Yeah, the Zapruder
No,
film.
no. The other vantage point. The vantage point from the 22 people, the witnesses that somehow died after they saw whatever. Apparently, there's another angle that's like completely depicts what happens.
There's a film on our platform right now. If you go to Redpills with a Z, Redpills, REDPILLZ .tv, and you go to actually the live stream area that you're in right now, and you at the bottom you'll see a bunch of videos. So if you scroll over there, there's gonna be a video called JFK, a rich man's trick. Watch that.
What was the driver, right? Obviously.
No,
After all
I
the
don't
other
know.
ones
I don't
missed.
know who it was, but I think it was multiple people at multiple different times.
And they missed, and the driver had to finish it.
Okay, I think I found the 2-hour version of it. There we go.
It's just going to be the same thing, but in super slow motion.
No, I think this is legit. Oh, full screen mode is unavailable. How convenient. Well, let's just watch it on YouTube then. I know we're going over time, but I don't care. I want to watch this. I want to see this. I want to see what happens. Because we're trying to prove something, right? We're looking at something in this perspective. Stephen Colbert, you can F off.
So I just finished. I just closed a TikTok live. We had 1,336 people that saw,
Nice. They didn't come in.
but I don't know how many of them actually went over or did.
What the heck?
But I mean, I think it's a good idea to at least get people to check it out.
Cool.
Let's see this Richard Branson thing. Oh, I see you doing your little. I mean, I think it's a good idea.
1 hour and 20 minutes. Plane comes back. 24.
Flat Earth is cap. Yes, it is.
What is the time frame that he actually goes and? Oh, it must be this one. Okay. So sorry guys, I'm like searching here.
Sorry, but that video by no means proved Earth to be a globe. Come on.
Who said that?
Sean
Sean.
Haug.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Dude, Earth's not flat. If you want to bring your facts in here, I'd love to talk to you about them.
Just go to the beach and watch a boat. Does it materialize or does it come up from under the water? Period. Done. Earth is not flat.
He's just saying it didn't prove it. That's all he's saying.
Okay. I like the beach. I'll go with you. Shit. Someone said something that was interesting to me about Mars. They mentioned it, and it said that Mars looks like a planet that was riddled with nuclear, war, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is why there's a pyramid on it. And we used to be there, but now we're here because we messed that planet up a little bit.
This
Just
doesn't make
saying.
any sense. The whole part of them in space is not here. It's not here.
I'm not gonna find it. I told you.
They
You can have a
deleted
4-hour one. It'll just be them be talking for 3.5 hours, and like a clip of that. That's it.
Is it in the beginning?
I'm telling you, I don't think you're gonna find it.
Oh, I
And
think
that's because
my bad. Nope, there's your circular Earth. Oh no, that was CGI. Huh. Go figure.
I don't know, man. It's too shady. Like everything's so sketchy when it comes to space. I don't know why. Oh, it's the 3 windows. That's why it's not really circular because there's 3 windows. You need 1 window. I don't see any space dust on that plane.
I don't know. I can't find it in this video. And now they're on their way back. It just completely skips over the whole point of where they go into space. I'll keep on looking for it.
That's insane.
Yeah, like why do we need to see like it landing? Who cares? We want to see space.
Oh, that was fucking weird. Okay. So I'm sending you this video right now. This is the YouTube video. And I'm going to tell you to go to a time frame. I'm going to pull this up on everybody, for everybody.
Okay. What's the time frame?
Hold on. I gotta find it.
How come there's clouds? How come there's clouds above the cloud?
So this is what we were looking at before when we were... There they are right there. Okay. They should be going into space any minute. We're at 42 minutes and 57 seconds.
42 minutes. Okay. I'm here.
But there's like I saw like a distortion, and they all showed up on the screen inside the plane, already in space, but this plane was still going. It was
I
weird.
saw that too. 42:14.
Yeah, I'm at 42:26 right now, so we're just watching it. We're going to see what happens. Maybe we can catch it. I want to see, like, oh, so it starts getting all distorted right here. At like 42 minutes. That's not my computer doing that. That's them.
Right.
Altitude is, they're only at 65,000, 66,000, 67,000 feet. They're really not that high. They must only go to low Earth orbit, so about 150 nautical miles, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. You said 42:57?
Yeah, right now I'm at 44
You go by
minutes.
altitude.
You can go to 44 minutes.
I'm at 46,000 right now.
I just want to
44?
watch this, I mean, see what happens. I want to see if they actually show the space coverage, because I can't find it. I was searching around. I couldn't find it.
What is that? Like 44:54.
They're traveling 2,110 miles per hour, Mach 3.
Oh, that's them?
Yeah, that's them.
Who's filming them? Why are they above them?
Yeah, it's probably another plane. But see, look at that. It just went from that one where they were still in the blue to all of a sudden all black. Then there's this distortions. And now they're in space. See, look. Okay, so at 44:45, right? You can still see them with the blue sky in front of them, right? 44:45. But go to 44:23 and watch what happens. You're going to see the
44:23.
spacecraft already in space. Boom, right there.
It gives the booster. So 44:27
Yeah,
gave the booster.
44,
oh yeah, it's already,
go to 44:29. 44:29. It's black.
Oh, I see it. It's already black. Yeah.
Okay, then let it play and watch the next one.
Distortion, and they're already in space.
Right?
And there's blue again.
Yeah,
Wait,
they're
what the
in
fuck?
space. All of a sudden, distortion. They're
It's
in
the
space.
same clip again.
You have the round Earth and then blue.
Yeah, they're replaying the clip. With the altitude just keep going up.
Yep.
Because how? Yeah, what? No, that doesn't make any sense. You got to keep track of the altitude. Hang on a second.
At 230,000 feet,
well.
it's going up.
So 444.49 is 22.
But why is the blue background behind it?
Maybe it's a different angle of filming. I don't know. Because the camera on the ship is filming like outer space, and
because at that point in time they're in space. So maybe what they did is they took all that the film video internal to the craft and they didn't release it till it came back down. Potentially,
right?
But why wouldn't they just transmit that? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I'm at 45:20 and they're still in the blue.
I'm at 45:30.
Now it's like getting darker. But like, who's filming this? What is this?
Well, it's probably the plane that was coming back down for landing. Or another aerial crew in another one of those craft that was following them, filming it, right?
I guess. Weird.
I don't know. That's pretty crazy, man.
They have enough money to track the Tic Tac from Nimitz, but they don't. They have enough money to go to space, but you can't give me a decent shot of the thing.
They have enough money to pinpoint fucking missiles anywhere on the planet at any point in time from anywhere on the planet. But you can't show me what's happening inside the cockpit of Richard Branson's little space plane there as it's going up to space.
Yeah. Very interesting.
They can determine who a lotto winner is within minutes of them
Yeah.
drawing the numbers.
Huh.
No footage.
So,
None?
Honest Content asked, this is actually a legitimate reason here. He says, why are they slowing down below Mach 1 at altitude? So they're coming up to about 250, right there. See how it's all distorted? They're floating now. And then it goes away from it. And they're still traveling. Now they're descending.
Yeah, they spliced the videos.
Well,
It's out of
no.
order.
So is at 46. Go to 46.
I'm at 46.54 right now.
Go to 4605.
46.05. Okay.
Look at the altitude. They're at 78,000, right? So their altitude doesn't change, is continuously changing, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of feet.
Right.
Okay, you got to remember, their aircraft is spinning in space.
It's
on
going
the
down
video-
though.
Right. This is what I want you to see. This is what I want you to notice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so they're coming at altitude. Now watch the video here, coming up about 46:40, 46:35. You notice the
Okay.
aircraft is not spinning. The aircraft is not spinning, guys. Okay, the aircraft is not. Oh, there they are. You see that? Right there, 46:40. They're floating in space. You see it?
Yep.
Remember, I just showed you. Look, they're at 244,000 feet at Mach 1. They're still descending in altitude, and the aircraft is not spinning. Now, why is that a
Right.
problem?
They're still descending and it's not spinning.
Go back to the video of the one they released of inside the spacecraft.
No, but
Remember
I
when
was
I
just at
t-
the same time.
Hold on.
I don't
Remember
think
when I
it's the
told you what was that light flickering behind Branson's back? Oh,
Uh-huh.
the aircraft was spinning because it was in space and it was no longer descending or ascending.
Well, right, but maybe that's what they meant. Where was the
The
letter?
videos don't match up, buddy.
No, I get it. I understand, but I don't think they meant to match it up. Like, did they make that video to make it look like that was happening at the same time?
No, you.
According to them?
What do you? Hold on, Dimitri.
Like,
I think
the
you're
inside of the space.
I think you're misunderstanding what's happening here. Okay. We just watched the live launch video. Okay.
For most of the world,
The
when a
live
shell
launch
missiles
video is showing the spacecraft launching in space. There's a part right there at that 46 minute and 40-second mark where the camera pans to inside the spacecraft. Okay? And you can see them floating around, right?
I get it.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the
Hold
video
on.
is supposed to be supposedly at the same time. Like as we see that, and then inside that's the same moment.
Yeah. Yes. Why
It's
wouldn't
bullshit.
it be?
Of course, it's not the same fucking moment.
Well, this is what I'm trying to show you. Is we're seeing the altitude at 244,000 and descending. Speed is descending because basically what they're doing is they're going up, they're stopping, and then they're falling,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So watch Richard Branson's back. And so this is them going up, right? This is the video right here. I got this up here on the screen. I'm going to blow this up. I want everybody to take a look at this because this gets really interesting. Watch the porthole behind Branson here coming up in a second. Okay? Oh, they didn't show it. Some bitch. Oh, it's that one. Okay, Branson's going to have a porthole right behind his back. See how the spacecraft is turning on its side right here? And I'm on a CBS video about 1:32. And then watch right here. You see that light right there?
Yeah.
That's the spacecraft. Okay, so if they're straight up and down, which we're watching the spacecraft, so if Earth is here and the spacecraft is here, okay, what we're seeing there is the spacecraft lean back to Earth like this, not nose down,
Yeah.
fuselage. You don't see that on the primary video. And if you look at this, you can see right in that window, you can see the light.
Right.
Right there, you're going to see the light transition. And that means that the spacecraft window is moving towards the Earth.
Yeah, I
Right
understand.
there.
It makes no sense.
It's at 1:35 in the CBS video. At 1:35, you see it's moving towards the Earth. And then this one, right here, this camera angle, right? It's looking back down to the Earth, but they weren't that high. I don't know. I'm going to call bullshit on this. I'm calling bullshit on this. There's a lot.
I don't think it was live. I think it was spliced. I mean, it is live. Well, it was, but it was spliced. Like they put
No.
inserts.
Dude. The video we watched was a live thing. They taped everything on the inside, but so basically what happened is if you watch the live video at 46:41, they go to the feed cam inside and it's too distorted, so they stop. And they go back to the camera can on the actual spacecraft.
Okay.
I think that was done on purpose because when you see the actual internal spacecraft cam, it doesn't make sense. They were never at a standstill. They're in continuous motion. Here's the thing, is they would have had about 5 seconds of zero gravity, and then they would have been to the ceiling of that spacecraft as they came back down. Okay, we don't see that. They're floating there for, 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds? I don't know. But, it takes amount of time to get out of that seatbelt, throw your camera down and around, do those things. I don't know, man. There's some fishy shit.
How do you know it was 5 seconds that they had to float?
If you watch the film, if you watch this video that we're watching of Unity 22, okay, watch the altitude. Watch what happens when the altitude hits peak, right? So if you go to about 4637, you're at 250,000 feet altitude, okay? That's peak.
Right.
All of a sudden, it starts descending in altitude. Thousands of feet per second back towards the Earth. They're in low Earth orbit.
Right.
So, have you ever seen like those movies where, okay, time for re-entry?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
That's what would happen to them. They have only a few seconds of that dip where they turn around. This is why when like the jumbo jets, the 777s go up and they mimic weightlessness, you only have about 5 to 10 seconds of weightlessness before it goes back down. And that's because it goes into a nosedive before it recovers. So it goes on its ascent, nosedives down for about 5 to 10 seconds and then comes back. You have to have time to unbuckle, weightless, back to the seat, buckle. And they don't show that whole part. I don't know, dude.
I don't know.
I'm
Really
sketched about this. I'm sketched about
but I don't know
this.
what it is though. Like, they obviously went somewhere, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they traveled up there, but I don't think they went into space. Who knows, man? I don't know. Who fucking knows, man?
Like, but where does
Everything
space
just
begin?
seems CGI now. Everything
Where does
just
space
seems
begin?
CGI.
Exactly. Like, where does space begin to you? Where there's no gravity? Like, is that space? You know what I mean? In your opinion, I don't know about this.
Well, it's about 150 nautical miles up. Okay, so currently they consider space to start 50 miles above Earth. So 50 miles to feet conversion.
That's very interesting because the epidermis of the Earth, the crust, is about 45 miles deep.
Yep. But so that would be about 264,000 feet in altitude, which is what they were about at. So they're in low Earth orbit. Not even low Earth orbit. They just hit the barrier of space.
Dude, 50 miles above is space, and the crust of the Earth, or our Earth that we're standing on, is 50 miles deep. So
That's
what's
not
underneath?
True. That's not true. Hold on. No, it's 1,802 miles below the Earth's surface is the core.
No. Okay, where does the epidermis end? The crust. How deep is the crust? 45 miles, I think.
Earth crust.
25 miles.
25 miles.
25 miles?
Yeah.
So the mantle starts after that, obviously.
Yeah, but it's only 1% of that. Yeah. I'd be interesting to see the proportionation of that, right? But
right.
They don't know what the hell the Earth is, man. They don't know. They're just trying to control everything. The more and more I think about it, it's just these people trying to fucking control the world. Control information, control silence, control knowledge.
Somebody asked me today, he's like, why were we, he's like, what do you mean the Earth's core might not be what it is? I'm like, well, nobody knows. We've never been there. The deepest hole is 2 miles deep. And
So Dimitri, go here. And then when you go there, click on the second graphic on the top of the page, and it'll say Earth size, and I can show everybody this. Earth size, the ocean crust is 5 to 7 miles. The continental crust is 10 to 75 nautical miles. What is this? The Morovovic discontinuity. The mantle is 2,900 kilometers. The outer core is 2,250 kilometers. The inner core is 1,220 kilometers.
Right. Not to scale. I like that it says not to scale on this one. I bet you it doesn't say that in textbooks. Cool. But Josh, this map of the Earth depicts it on a flat plane.
You're funny.
Is it square?
Not really.
What the hell was that last one? Was that rusty ass thing? Looks like earwax.
I don't know. That was pretty cool.
Svashtar. All terrestrial planets and moons have a crustal upper layer.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Oh, I spelt that coming. Just curious, what does it matter if the Earth is flat or round? What is the benefit of lying about it? The Earth is
Exactly.
flat,
Well,
all
that's the
planets
devil.
are flat as well. Can someone explain?
It's the devil. Because if we believe the Earth is round, the devil wins. Straight up. That's where it comes from.
So, it's probably easier to argue flat earthers about the existence of the devil and God than it is about flat Earth, because they just will never accept the whole theory about round Earth.
I asked exactly the question. How would your life change tomorrow if you found out this is flat? So what do they care if it's flat or not? If they've really discovered that it's flat again, why keep up the facade that it's a sphere?
Yeah.
The devil. There was an agreement made by, whatever.
Yeah. The Earth is indefinitely a sided polygon. I agree.
Yeah. It's a trapezoid.
Infinitely sided polygon. 100%. Do you know what an infinitely sided polygon is?
A circle. A sphere.
Yeah. Sermons, no one ever said God is real. Just said the devil wasn't.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he does exist. Yeah. Usual suspect flips upside down.
Who is Kaiser Sose?
I think the biggest trick he pulled was convincing everybody that he's a he.
Oh, it's a chick.
Devil Wears Prada.
So
right.
Sermons just said Jesus is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
Okay.
So, what is the Semitic word for Lord? So if you go back to various Semitic languages and you look up the word Lord, where do you see the derivation of this word coming from? Not etymology, not the Latin. Just curious.
I've got the answer, but
What is it?
it starts with a B.
Ends with an L.
Well, there's Bel, B-E-L, and there's Baal, B-A-A-L, which means Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Or Moloch. Hey.
Just saying.
I'm with you. I mean,
Well, and we have Ye is in the chat.
who is?
Ye is one of our resident biblical scholars and Torah scholars, and she is an absolutely amazing. We need to have her on the show if we ever can get her away from her, the babysitting. But she would be awesome for this show. Beelzebub, yeah, it's Lord of the Flies, right? Beelzebub.
As the devil put aside for me. Love that song.
Pagan gods. Sermons, yeah, buddy. I'd love to have you on the show sometimes. We can talk about it, but it's not a pagan god. It's just the actual word. It's where that word comes from. It's the lesser of lesser gods. It's the derivation of Jehovah as being one in the pantheon of the lesser gods. Is where that word Baal, the word Lord, actually derives from. But hey, that's not me. That's just science.
All in.
But here's the thing. So this is one question I have. Okay, and I want some serious consideration. Okay, about this, and maybe a Christian can out there and help me, right? Jesus was God embodied, right? He was God, correct? Yes?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Was this
Apparently.
before or after the resurrection?
Both.
What it boils down to is, are we talking pre-Nicaea or post?
No, I'm talking the actual. Let's just say Jesus, right, like 2,000 years ago.
I see the question. I
The
see where you're
actual
going with
real
this.
Jesus, okay? So Jesus was God, the embodiment of God, right? Was he all of God?
No.
No. I'm not asking you. I'm asking a Christian. I'm asking them.
Sorry.
Okay.
Got it.
Was he all of God? Before. So while he was a man, we thought he was a man. He was actually God as well. Okay.
Don't answer yes. That's a loaded question.
It's not a loaded question.
It's
But so
totally a
here's the
loaded
thing.
question.
Who is
'Cause
God?
If we're up here, who's running hell? I mean, what?
Who's God? Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. How can all of God be contained in one man and still run the universe?
The Holy Spirit.
No, that was Jesus. Jesus was the Trinity. Jesus was all that. 3 parts to one whole. Sherman just said it. 3 parts to one whole. It was all embodied in Jesus. So who was running the universe?
His dad?
No, this is God.
I'm
God
just
was
trying to-
Jesus. God and Jesus are one. 3 parts, one whole. Who's running the universe?
Lucifer.
Oh, he who shall not be named was running the universe, as per what Sermons just said. Yahweh.
What's it, Voldemort?
Hold on. Jesus is not God. In my opinion, he's known to be the Son of God. Okay, I like this one. God, Father, Son are not names but titles. Jesus is his name. Absolutely, Marilyn. I like this. Roxy says the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So everybody's talking about the Trinity now. So Sermons just says he's God. Okay, he's God, but who's running the universe? Think about this. Energy distribution. God is everything. It's omnipotent. It's omnipresent. It's omniscient, right? It's absolutism. It's totality. How can you contain totality in one human being?
You can't.
You can't.
Especially if that human being saying like, "Follow me" and don't follow anyone else.
So
Like, that's so
either-
not godlike.
So either God, right? So either Jesus was not all of God, only a little portion of God. Okay.
It's like me and you.
Right? Or he was the God, but not the God of the universe.
I think Insomniac nailed it.
What's that? Maybe God's woman, God at multitasking, could do Jesus and run the universe. I'm not trying to look. Jesus was
And
not
I'm-
fully God. So Summer says Jesus was not fully God. No, on Voldemort. And I'm asking sermons out there. God is I am that I am. Okay, but that's just a riddle. That's the same thing as me saying I am and it is. How is that any different? What I'm trying to say is if we're looking at parts of time, space, and matter within the exceeding, I understand that Trinity is derived from many other cultures and religions. I agree with that. But what I'm trying to say is if Jesus was the embodiment of God, which I don't deny that. I definitely don't deny that. I'm just bringing up a speculative question. Then how can Jesus be God at the same time that the universe is in existence? If God is... I remember this great debate. It was an atheist and this one Christian scholar. And it was in like a high school gymnasium. And this guy, he's like on point. He does these things and he talks really fast like this, like me. And he's going all over the place. And he goes, see, your mistake there is thinking that God exists within his creation. See, God does not exist within his creation. God exists outside of his creation. Therefore, God is all that was, all that will ever be. Right? Now, how did Jesus become God if that's what God is? How can God be outside of his creation, be all there ever was and all there will ever be, and then be inside Jesus? Can someone answer me that riddle?
I mean, I could answer it, but it's just going to be another riddle.
No, answer it.
Well, because if God is everything there ever was and everything there ever will be, then Jesus falls into that category.
No, he doesn't. See, a part cannot be the whole. Do you understand? If the whole is everything outside that encompasses everything within, then something within cannot be everything that's outside.
No, because look, if you're reaching your arm into a hole in a room and you're trying to grab something,
No.
no.
You're not understanding the conceptualization of Christianity. God is embodied in Jesus. Jesus is God. The Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Jesus is the embodiment of that. How can God be there and the universe still be in existence?
Yeah, you can't.
And Andrea says, why can't God exist within his own creation? He absolutely can. 100%. Not denying that. And that's kind of what I'm getting to. Is it goes back to the book. If Mark Twain was here today, Samuel Clemens, and he wrote Huck Finn, is there a part of Mark Twain in Huck Finn?
100%.
Is Huck Finn Mark Twain?
Nope.
Exactly.
Well.
So does a part of God exist within the creation?
Yes.
Does Huck Finn exist outside of the creation? In the mind of God. So absolutely God can exist inside the creation. But it brings about the thought, right? And this is something I have to look at because I believe in Jesus. I absolutely do. Okay? I believe in Christ and Christ consciousness and understanding of it and the principality of Gnostic Christianity. Absolutely 100%. And the question is that's the case then? Is there a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation of post-Nicene Christianity of what Christ actually is? I'm just putting logic out there. The Father is God, the Son is God, and the Spirit is God, and there is but one God. Servants, I'm not disagreeing with you. But how can all God, which is the totality of the universe, everything there was and ever will be contained in one man?
Because God can do whatever he wants.
Correct, but here's the thing. Is the moment that if the totality of a God existed within Jesus, then nothing exists outside of Jesus. Period.
Yeah. So we're all microorganisms in Jesus' body right now.
So someone says, you believe in a different Jesus than I do. No, I think it's the same Jesus. I'm just asking a very logical question pertaining to what you believe. Right? To one thing that you understand. And look, this is how I've always understood Christianity as well. Is that Jesus was the embodiment of God. He was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This was God incarnate. If that's the case, he wasn't all of God. He wasn't the totality of God. He wasn't the absolutism of God, for he could not have been since existence existed around him.
Exactly.
But it could happen in exactly the way that you understood it, is if that was just a conscious point of God's consciousness coming into being for a small, minute period of existence.
A figment of God's imagination.
Yeah. He just popped his head in for 33 years, did what he had to do, and popped his head out. Very possible. But that also would say that you did not have his full attention. And I also think that Jesus was not, if Jesus is God, it's not the same God of the Old Testament. Absolutely not the same God of the Old Testament. Tell me the comparison of how Jesus compares to Jehovah.
I have no idea. You're asking me.
Amicus?
Old Testament, it's a vengeful, wrathful God. Pretty vengeful and wrathful.
Yep. So, but is that Jesus?
No. Nope.
Jesus turns the other cheek, right? He's the opposite.
Yeah.
That's right. So think about that. Is if God is God, if God is Yahweh, if God is Jehovah, and Jesus was the incarnate of that, that means that Jesus was also that merciful, vengeful person that flooded the earth? That's not Jesus' nature.
Wait, hang on a second there. Maybe he was, and he's just repaying his karma for it as being Jesus.
Oh, that's what the salvation comes from, right? Maybe. But why leave us hanging for two grand years, right?
He already came back. I don't know. Everyone's waiting for the second coming of Christ. Like, he came back already twice. He was once, and then he died. He came back. That's two. What are you waiting for? Third one.
So Ye says we don't understand the Hebrew Bible. That's fine, Ye.
I don't.
I think there's a lot of things that you and I both understand in different perspectives. We agree to disagree. There's deeper mystery within the Hebrew Bible. It's not literal, and if you take it literal, then I think that I mean, there's contextual history there. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely, yeah, contextual history.
If you take Ezekiel literally, then you'll believe in aliens. Hey.
Oh, I think there's just a lot of things. There's a lot of information to look at when we look at everything. Yeah, she knows. Yeah, you need to come on the show. You definitely need to come on the show. It's very rare we get to see you, and you definitely need to come on the show. The devil
just
wears
once.
Prada, so Ye don't wear Prada. Ooh, shots fired. But I don't know. I'm just stirring the pot here. I'm just messing with some people, but not really messing. I'm just asking questions that always been on my mind, right? I mean, like, I go talk to a pastor or a priest about this. I'm just gonna get the standardized answers. I talk to servants about this. At least I'm gonna get honest, truthful answers for him. And then I got Ye out there who's gonna give me honest, truthful answers from her perspective. I know there's 4 levels to every word and verse. I'm just going, we have a broad audience, so we can't extrapolate upon things, especially when the show's almost over. Podcast, do you think the Old Testament versus the New Testament could be Enki versus Enlil? Ooh, that's a good one. I think it's the same story, just written over. It's the same story, just written over again. Right? Jesus is David. Sermons, you and my mother got a lot in common. He said, Lord save Joshua. Isn't that saying like Jesus saved Jesus? Like the names? Yeshua saves Yeshua? My name's
I think
Josh.
he just told you to go to hell.
No, I'm just saying my name's Joshua.
Well, remember where Lord comes from, right?
Right. Lord, Baal save Joshua. I don't want Baal to save me. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritually oriented. And I've had an understanding in my life of what this all is. In my own understanding. Agree to disagree. I don't care. That's okay. That's just my experience. And you have your experience. And see, your belief works for you and my belief works for me. And I'd never trample upon your belief. I'll ask questions about it just like you could ask questions about mine. And I'll give you answers. But I'll never say that my God needs to save sermons. Because I don't think about it like that. I don't think about it in the sense that I'm right or you're wrong or you're right and I'm wrong. I think about it as these are two evolving ideas that are continuous in nature. And they should never be set on one belief structure, because the moment you believe in just one thing, you limit yourself to that one belief. And you're no longer growing, you're no longer learning.
100%. I like things the way they are, and when you're fun. You don't like change. You have to keep an open mind.
And that's exactly it. It's like I would, listen, God help you. Whatever that means to you. But, I believe in God. I believe that Jesus was absolutely real. I don't deny that. I believe that there's a lot of disinformation and propaganda. And if you want to think that disinformation and propaganda is something that started occurring in the 1930s, you're fucking crazy. This is what's that?
We don't know. Some of the first cave paintings might be fucking propaganda.
I know. Who's gonna put this moose here? There's no moose here. I know.
What's the oldest profession?
20,000 years later, the archaeologist is looking at. There was moose here. Did you know there was moose here? There was moose here. And that caveman's like, ha ha ha. We're gonna screw with them. We migrated north almost 200 miles. There's no moose here. I know, but let's make them think there is. I even got some moose blood. Ha 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 ha.
Let's draw a person with a helmet.
Yep, the story as old as time. Deception. That's right. And you know what? Listen. Going back to what I just said. is I ask questions because I'm continuously growing. I don't ask them to attack people. I don't ask them to belittle people. I ask them because I truly want to know, learn, and grow. Why? Because my belief system is not something that is set in stone. My belief system is on a continuous state of evolution, of growth, of progression forward. Okay? I am not set within my beliefs. Therefore, you can change my beliefs. But I promise you, you'll never change my beliefs that way.
Yeah.
And the reason that happens is because I've already been there. I've already been there. I've already had that belief. And to me, I realized what it was, I understood it, and I grew from it. And you know what? You should never put a limitation on your belief. My belief is contained in this book or this phone, and that's it. That's my belief. This is my whole belief. There's 4 types of people in the world. 4 types. There's only 4 types of people in the world. There's people who live in a box. They don't know the box existed, and they'll never know the box existed. The other type of people, they live inside the box. They know the box exists, but they're comfortable inside the box, so they stay there in the box, knowing that there's things outside, but they don't care. They're just going to stay in the box. There's the third type of people. They control those people in the boxes. There's the fourth type of people. They realized a long time ago that the box never existed. Who are you? Do you believe that the whole world, all truth is right here inside of a phone, inside of a book, that it's external to you, that you can grab it and you can encapsulate it? Or is it something that is not limited by time, by space, by information, by language, by knowledge? That it's expansive, it's growth-oriented, it's progressive, that it's meant to be continuous and evolutionary. That's belief. Belief should not be limited by anything. And anybody who comes about, who limits your belief, who says that this is the truth, this is it, this is all the truth there's ever going to be, that person is the third people that control those in the box. And that limitation, that thing that they put in front of you, is the fucking box. And it goes for anything in your life, whether it's information, whether it's politics, whether it's economics, whether it's your economic caste system that you live in, whether it's a poverty mindset or a wealth mindset, or whether it's science or your imagination. Never limit yourself simply because someone else told you. Isn't that the principle that we live here on the Redpill Project? Is never believe anything anybody says, no matter who they are, what authority they possess. Me, Dimitri, Fred, whether it's God, whether it's Trump, whether it's Jesus or the fucking Pope. You don't believe anything anybody says unless you can prove it with your own research and your own volition, your own willpower behind what you're investigating and inquiring about. Period. If you blindly accept it, you're no different from anybody else who just follows the fucking narrative. I love this show.
That would normally be followed by a standing ovation.
Yeah. Or a Molotov cocktail.
Burn it all down!
Like, that'd be me at the end. Like, you good? All right, let's go.
That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and Jade, like, clapping at Josh. You're absolutely right. Listen, that's life. We can all believe what we want to believe. And that's the great thing. And I'm never going to press my beliefs upon you, except for that one quip of knowledge. Never believe anything. No matter who they are, what they are.
The only certainty in life is that there's no certainty.
That's right. And if someone ever tries to say, all truth is contained... Remember? Thoth. The truth of the universe, the mysteries of Isis, the Sadic Isis, the Isean mysteries, are contained within the emerald tablets of Thoth. Really. As above, so below was the only thing that was written on the emerald tablets, but yet the Theosophic Society, Madame Blavatsky and them, channeled Thoth and wrote a book. And that book contains all the knowledge you ever need to know about Hermeticism, alchemy, and Thoth. Right there in that book, because they channeled it. Because they channeled
snake oil.
But Thoth says, no. It's on the tablet. As above, so below. That's it. That's all that's written there. No. We wrote the book. We talked to you. No, you didn't. It's just right here.
I gave you 4 words.
You talked to me, but then you added a lot. Couldn't really market 4 words.
Can't market 4 words. There you go.
Because those 4 words promote free thinking.
That's right. You know how you can find truth? It's free. It's beautiful. It resonates.
It is.
And you know what? If Jesus is your truth and that's your truth, then that's beautiful. Absolutely.
As long as you feel free, you're good.
As long as you feel free with that knowledge, that information, and that understanding. That's why Jesus is powerful. Because it brings that. But here's the thing. Is just don't limit yourself to just that. Don't take what the priesthood has said to do as truth.
Yeah.
I think Christianity is one of the most amazing things on this planet, especially in this country right now. But I also think that it's been corrupted massively. And that the propaganda and disinformation within it spans thousands of years. And it's all control and manipulation based. And so you have to weed out the shit. And anybody who tells you to think this way, this specific way, this is it. You can't look at that. You can't look at pagan God. Oh, you can't research that. That's blasphemy to research that.
Who says it's blasphemy?
The Catholic Church. You can't look at
No,
this stuff.
I get it.
We're going to lock these books up underneath our vault. Only we can look at them. You can't.
Yeah. What the fuck? Dude, this is such bogus. I knew this was bogus a while ago. Yeah. Thank God I went to Catholic like in middle school, and I was listening to this stuff, and I was like, wait. None of this makes sense.
So Shane says transubstantiation is cannibalism. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What are you adrenochrome dude over there? Like
you know what? One of the first things that I knew was bogus was that thou shalt not kill wasn't the first fucking rule.
Wait, thou shalt not kill. Okay, let's establish the Church of Jesus and go kill millions.
How is that not the first rule? Don't kill other humans. What the fuck? It's like the fifth.
I come down with the laws of God, and thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not sleep with another's wife. Crusades, man. I'm gonna do every
rape and pillage.
Rape and pillage. Kill them all. I don't know.
That was also like the Pope.
Oh yeah.
Okayed it. He's just like
God said okay this time.
We might make that. We might want to make that the 5th rule because we're gonna break it a bunch of times. So let's just make it not seem as important as not following the other God. You know. What the fuck? Let's rearrange these 10 commandments.
I'm really not trying to make fun, but it's a very arbitrary smattering of the way that they kind of
George Carlin was really funny too. He's like, why is there 10?
Yeah, he knocked it down to 1.
Yeah. Did he?
Yeah, that whole bit he went boom, 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 and got it down to 1.
George Carlin?
Yeah.
No,
I just saw the beginning.
And I love you all, by the way. I really, truly do love you all. And I'm just here to wake people up. And if I'm not waking you up, if you're already awoke and you're set in your belief, that's great. If your belief is evolving and you're learning, great. But I would never press my belief on you, and I'd never expect you to press your belief on me. Right?
You're flat.
This goes back to what we talked about the other day, guys. And so, do we remember the conversation we were having the other day with law, natural law, and all that stuff?
Was I here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I can show it. So, you guys can see. Are you guys watching on YouTube?
Yeah. I've got it pulled up.
All right. In a few seconds, you're going to see a triangle pyramid start popping up. Remember when we talked about how I said I had extrapolated the how they did the different levels of the 7 principles of Hermeticism, the 7 principles of the universe, and extrapolated that into a control structure, the pyramid of control by the Illuminati? If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it right now.
It's coming up. There it is. Got it. A few seconds to lead. Mind, natural law, human being, laws of mankind, public servants, entities, artificial person, corporation, property, money, intrinsic value. Yeah.
Now remember I told you is that the sequence was in precedence. Now look at how consent falls downward, right? Mind, natural law, human being, and then we have a line of freedom. Okay?
Yep.
Consent forms the laws of man. The laws of man form public servants. Public servants allow for the formulation of entities, artificial persons, corporations. Entities, artificial corporations, so forth, create property, money, intrinsic value. This is understanding. You stand under the knowledge of this system in existence. Okay?
Right.
From the understanding of this comes the derivation of value for each. Money, property, the property, money, and intrinsic value only has the value towards entities, artificials, and corporations. Right?
Yep.
Those things are ruled and dominated by public servants, which are dominated by the laws of mankind, which we now cross back over to the line of freedom and human beings, of which are derived from natural law, the 7 hermetic principles, and all comes down from mind.
From mind.
Now,
Yep.
where do human beings exist right now on that pyramid?
That's kind of a loaded question.
Remember, this is the Illuminati pyramid that nobody's ever seen before. Where do human beings exist? Most people in America and the world right now, where do they exist? Think about, okay, public servants. That's our government.
Yep.
And notice how between each one it says restrictions of freedoms. After the laws of mankind, it's a line of freedom. Laws of mankind, restrictions of freedoms when it comes to public servants. More restrictions of freedoms when entities, artificial person, and corporation. More restrictions of freedom when you come to property, money, and intrinsic value, right?
Right.
Now, mankind, human beings up here, the Americans, created public servants which worked for them by the utilization of a constitution that was built upon the laws of mankind, right? Okay. Then public servants created entities, artificial persons, and corporations. So most people would think that Americans right now exist in artificial person, right?
I mean, yeah, they would, but
most people would think that, right? Nope. Go one more down below. Property.
Yep. Exactly. Your birth certificate states that literally.
All human bodies are literally at the property level right now. They don't even have control of their artificial person because that is owned by the corporation, which is controlled by the public servants, which you believe the laws of mankind give you entitlement to.
So in layman's terms,
you have to tear the whole system down.
You're viewed as bubkiss.
That's right.
And guess what? Like when you give consent to this as a human being, because like the way your name is even written on like a court summons, you don't have to say that this is you. But once you say, is Dimitri so and so here, and you say yes, boom, you just consented to that being you, and you just associated yourself with all of that. And now you are.
So you hand him over your birth certificate as just like, here, you want your
But here's
person
the
you
problem
called in
with
the
that.
court? Like, here's a piece of paper.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Where are you standing right now? On property.
Yep.
Step off of your property. Where are you standing on? More
Somebody
property.
else's property.
All that property is owned by what? The entities and corporations.
All of the above.
Do you own property?
Nope.
See why the founding fathers said that property ownership was the key tenet of freedom. Because if you don't have property ownership, you fall into this caste system.
You are the property.
This is why slaves existed back then and it was okay. Because this is the system. This is the esoteric system that you know nothing about. Because everything above the laws of man have been hidden from you. Natural law of understanding of mind, all hidden from you.
And it's also why the second most sacred tenet, voting, you needed to be a landowner to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right. Originally in the Constitution, you had to be a landowner in order to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because everything else
Means
is
you were
just furniture.
means you were educated for the most part. You got it.
That's
you
actually
understood.
bullshit. No. That's what they taught you in civics class. Okay? If you were a landowner, you owned this country. You were a sovereign. You were a landowner. You contributed to the country. It's really that simple. It doesn't matter if you're educated or not educated. It doesn't matter if you're smart or not smart, right? I understand.
Loosely termed. I meant it more like you were privy to the system.
Correct. That's right. You understood how the system operated. Now, do you want to understand why we have a representative form of government?
It represents us because we're just furniture.
No. The representative form of government came about when they were discussing how to organize, right? The Articles of Confederation. Right after that, you had the formulation of the Constitution. You had the Federalist Papers going back and forth between the pen pal names, right? And they were discussing different ideas of how to formulate a government. And they chose a representative form of government. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Well, here's the thing. Is they wanted every citizen to be able to represent themselves in government.
Okay.
Think about that. But they knew it was impossible because the majority of Americans were farmers during this time, and they lived miles, 20, 30 miles away from the nearest town.
Got it.
And so when you live 20, 30 miles away from the nearest town, you'd actually go into that town, you would hire a lawyer. That lawyer would get power of attorney over you and represent the client, the entity of who you were. Okay? And so you got to remember, who were the people that formulated this country? Lawyers. And so they represent you in Washington. Now think about that letter of representation. Remember, Black's Law Dictionary is everything when we're talking about how this is all formed.
Right.
Now, every single person that was initially on the first Congress were landowners. Now, also think about this. They were representing who?
Everyone
Constituents.
Their constituents. Okay. What does a lawyer do? If you hire a lawyer and you go to court, what's a lawyer doing for you?
They represent you.
They represent you. In what fashion? A legal fashion for your freedoms, right?
Yeah.
For your
Same
money
thing.
and for your freedoms.
Same thing.
That's right. So we have a representative form of government, which means that we elect people to represent our money and our freedom.
Wow.
Doing a pretty piss poor job about it, if you ask me.
Now, who was the people back in the 1700s who would elect those people? The farmers. The farmers had what? Land. And if that person didn't represent them in Congress, what did that farmer do? Or what did that landowner do?
Pull the vote.
He pulled the vote because all the other landowners and him were in cahoots because they're the ones that formed the market dynamic in the capitalistic society. It was them who were all trading with each other. And if Steve didn't want to play game with the 25 farmers that elected him to get elected,
right,
Steve was no longer the representative. That system works really well. But once you take land ownership out of it,
it's meaningless. The whole system is meaningless.
So who owns land, people and property, now?
Corporations.
Corporations. Who controls politicians?
Corporations.
System hasn't changed one bit, guys.
No, of course not.
The system is still the same system.
Just more of it. Yeah.
You just don't own any land. We forgot the most... See, hold on to that Second Amendment. Hold on to that First Amendment. Hold on to that Second Amendment. Hold on to that First Amendment. And everybody forgot about the most important aspect of it all. The most important freedom that you had is the freedom to own frickin' property. And you let the government go out there and take it all up through BLM. You let the state government go out there and dictate it and repurpose it for opportunity zones and sell it to billionaires.
Well, yeah, now they're running the shit.
Everybody needs to go out and buy land right now.
Okay.
Land is your key to freedom. Is, has, and always will be. What did Trump say is the only asset that you should ever own?
Property.
Property.
Huh.
See how they got away from talking about Jesus? No, it all comes back to Jesus, buddy. You want to know why it comes back to Jesus? See,
our rights are inalienable from and endowed from our Creator, and seeing as property would fall into that rights thing, I would say, comes right back to Jesus.
What's the Magna Carta?
It limited divine right rule, didn't it?
Is a royal charter, the rights agreed by King John of England at Runnymede near Windsor on the 15th June 1215, first drafted by Archbishop of Canterbury Stephen Langton to make peace between the unpopular king and a group of rebel barons. What's a baron? Landowner. If promised the protecting of the church rights, protection for the barons from illegal imprisonment, access to swift justice, and limitation of feudal payments to the crown, to be implemented through the Council of 25 Barons representation. Neither side stood behind their commitments, and the charter was annulled by Pope Innocent III. By the way, who was Pope Innocent III? I'm pretty sure that he was a famous, Latore di Conti di Signy. The Signy family bloodline. You might want to go look that up. Anyway, leading to the First Barons' War. Now, the Magna Carta, basically you had a shitty king. You had a shitty king, and you had a church that was hungry for power. The church molded the people for years, hundreds of years. Be good to God. God will come and smite you. Jesus will kill you, right? Jesus will take you down. And so the barons went to the king and said, you need to relinquish your power to the Pope. Now, here's the thing, is the Magna Carta is one of the architectural documents for the United States Constitution. Now, the United States Constitution, a constitution is nothing more than a covenant, is what? What is the United States Constitution? If I was going to ask you right now, hey, I'm not from here, what's the United States Constitution? Can you explain it to me? Please.
Social compact.
Social construct. Compact. Okay, compact, constitution, covenant. What is it? Explain it to me.
No idea. I'm not from here either.
Contract. Contract, covenant, constitution, right? They're all the same thing. Contract. Remember, legality. Contract. Who's the contract between? And this is where it becomes fucked up.
It's between you and the government, right?
Well,
it's on a level. It's between you and the government, basically saying that you the sovereign, has these rights. They're endowed from a creator.
You, the landowner.
You, this entity, can't strip these rights from us.
Yeah, you representing me cannot take this from me, right? But how about this? Is what did the Declaration of Independence do? You gotta remember, we had foundational legal documents, right? What did the Declaration of Independence do?
Basically, formally declared that we no longer recognize the...
Where did it say we gain our rights and freedoms from? This is why it all has to do with Jesus.
God, endowed creator.
God. The Declaration of Independence is the first part of the United States Constitution. Why? It is a part of our legal documentation, the foundational legal documentation of this country. The Declaration of Independence says that all men are free because God gives all men freedom. Nobody has the right to rule over that. Magna Carta. The king doesn't. God does. God is representative of the Magna Carta as who? The Pope.
Wow.
Okay. So now we come to the formulation of Declaration of Independence from King George. We send it to King George and we say God gives us our freedoms. We're not talking about the Pope here. We're talking about God. We're talking about the totality. Absolutism gives us our fucking freedoms. And we'll fight for them. Okay? So then we form a constitution after we win that war, right? So after 1776, July 4, 1776, right? After the war is over, King George no longer has authority here. We're free men. We're divine we're sovereign from God if you own land. Because if you didn't own land, guess who you were? You were a fucking slave. Or you lived in poverty.
Same position.
You didn't even have a vote. Okay? So, nothing different from the barons and the landowner. Okay, so, now the Constitution comes out. And the Constitution basically says is the government that we're forming on each individual state, which has to be ratified by each individual state, which the states come together in a union, will formulate a federal government, and that federal government, okay, will have jurisdiction over interstate commerce and foreign wars. And this is where it gets interesting, this contract is between God and the people. Because you got to remember, your rights and your freedoms come guaranteed by God. The Bill of Rights is the rights guaranteed by God.
If you own land, though.
That's right. If you own land. Seriously, that's how they thought. So it's rights guaranteed by God, which means
God
that
if you own land.
So which means that it was a covenant between us, God, and them, right? Because it's basically coming from God, saying that, look, these are the laws of man. Laws of man given to us by God, saying to the government that you cannot obstruct any of these things no matter what. And they didn't, and they still haven't today. Do corporations pay taxes? So is the tax law unconstitutional? Whoa, did you see it? Did you see it? Because they own all the fucking land. And they pay no taxes. But guess what you do? Their employees do. The people who work on their property pay all the taxes.
Nothing changed. Just the facade and the scenery.
Well, here's the thing, is the opportunity. The system is there for us to succeed. That's the beauty of it. Is you can rise up out of this tyranny and oppression anytime you want. You can be a free man, a free human. A sovereign individual, if you like. All you simply have to do is do what? Go back to that that big old triangle. I keep on going there. That big old triangle, and go right to the bottom. Consent, understanding, derivation. Understand how your will, when you give your consent out, understand how your consent is derived. Period. If you understand that, you know the system. If you know the system, you never can fail. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I hope that was a mind trip for a lot of people out there. I hope you guys had a great night. This is still, I like this. This is fun.
This is fun.
It is.
I like questioning reality. Just question reality. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Just question it. Yeah.
And guess. Question and guess. Don't just question and be like, oh, just have an opinion, have an idea at least.
Surprise yourself.
Agreed.
All right, guys. I'm
have
good
a great
night. You guys
evening.
Well.
I will.
All right. So, little last house cleaning efforts. If you guys have not checked it out, I'm just going to send this out for you guys. Go on over to redpills.tv. This is our new website. You can see it right there. It's really easy to remember. Redpills.tv. It's actually redpillpodcast.com, but redpills.tv is the shortened version of it. If you just go to that website, it's pills with a Z. If you go to that website, redpillz.tv, we're on there. And everything's all linked up there. You can find everything that you need to find out about us, who we are. There's information on shows, upcoming shows, all the shows we do, all of our guests that we've had on the show, all the guests upcoming, including all of our hosts. Much love and respect. God bless. Take care. Till tomorrow.
Adios.
Adios.